Everybody, it's Dayna Martin, community producer for Anarchapulco, and I'm so happy to have here today Sterlin Lujan. He's presenting at Anarchapulco this year again, and for those of you that don't know who Sterlin is, Sterlin, why don't you introduce yourself to our community? There's probably like half the people coming have never met you before and have never heard of you, so I am really anxious for you to introduce yourself and for you to meet everybody.
Absolutely. I'm super excited as well, Dayna. This is going to be amazing. So for anybody who doesn't know me, I've been in the libertarian/anarchist space for a good while now, about a decade, since 2009. And here's how it happened. And I'll give you sort of the brief, short version of this because it's kind of a long story. So in 2009, I was arrested / kidnapped for possession of MDMA and cocaine, about 26 grams of cocaine and 500 pills of MDMA. So one would say that I was engaging in my own entrepreneurial endeavor at a very early age. And after I was kidnapped for possession of these substances, there was a period of time where I had to wait to go to trial, and inevitably I was issued probation, or I probably wouldn't be sitting here today because they originally threatened me with 40 years in prison. But during the time period I was waiting to go to trial, I started to realize that maybe I was the victim in this scenario. Maybe I wasn't the bad guy. I started thinking about this because a lot of people close to me, family members, friends, were trying to guilt trip me and make me feel like I was the bad guy and that I had committed some grievous wrong that needed to be righted by the state, by the government and the powers that be. So I started reading Murray Rothbard's book, For a New Liberty. I read the Tannehill's book, Market for Liberty, and I really started studying anarchist and anarchist philosophy online. And of course, the realization was that I was the one who was victimized in this whole scenario. So I became an anarchist, and I started to stand up for myself and suggest that maybe I'm not the bad guy, that the bad guys are the men with guns who kicked in my door, threw me to the ground, and then took me off to a cage and threatened me with 40 years imprisonment. And ever since then, I've been fully enmeshed in the libertarian and anarchist space. But then a couple of years later, I was online, and this kind of goes into how I got into the cryptocurrency scene. I was online hanging out with anarchists, and I came into contact with a group of individuals who call themselves crypto anarchists, people who want to leverage technology, specifically cryptocurrencies and encrypted protocols, to provide more freedom, privacy, and sovereignty for the individual, not only in the physical reality, but also in cyberspace. And I started writing about Bitcoin there. That was in 2013, 2014. And in 2015, I traveled to New Hampshire to the Porcupine Freedom Festival to see what that was all about, to see everything that was going on. And my buddy said, "Oh, Sterlin, you're coming. This is awesome. But what you need to do, you have to have Bitcoin," right? I had been writing about Bitcoin, but I hadn't put my money where my mouth is, right? I hadn't started to purchase any Bitcoin. So I purchased it, went to PorcFest, started using it in their Agrest Valley where their vendors sell their goods, their wares for Bitcoin. I purchased a whole bunch of stuff, and I suddenly had an epiphany. I'm like, why have I not bought this already? This is absolutely the technology that's going to change the world. So I went back to my wife. I told Cecilia, I said, "Babe, we are going 100% all in right now on Bitcoin." I think the price at the time was around $500 or so. So then I started working for Bitcoin.com in 2015, and the rest is pretty much history at that point. We can get into some of the details if you want as well, but that's the basic story, how I became an anarchist and got into the cryptocurrency space, and sort of these twin philosophies or these twin ideas kind of converged to create who I am today.
That's pretty amazing. You know, everything that you're bringing this year to Anarchapulco with your work with Bitcoin.com, anarchism, your story, it's all fascinating, and I can't wait to hear more about it, and I can't wait for people to hear more about it at your talk. So Bitcoin.com, they are our main sponsor this year. That's pretty exciting. So what does that mean, like, to you, that Bitcoin's our headlining sponsor?
Really, it's all about community, right? It's about the ecosystem. It's about actually living freely, if only for this moment in time, this piece of time that we get to experience what it would be like to not have bureaucrats, politicians, and policemen lording over us at every step of the way. And since our company shares those values, since we have this idea that we need to procure as much economic freedom for individuals, it makes sense that we would partner and work together to make this a reality, because it's not just about talking the talk, it's about walking the walk. It's about pursuing these ideas with such ferocity, such dignity, make it a reality, a part of who we are. And that's been my modus operandi since time immemorial as well. So I'm so happy.
We're really honored that Bitcoin.com is going to be our headlining sponsor for sure. We loved having them last year. The energy that they brought was really the heart of what we do. And so having them again is going to be great. It's going to be twice as big this year. I can't wait to see everybody. And yeah, so you're speaking on the main stage as well. What are you speaking about on the main stage this year?
You know, it's kind of funny that you asked me that. Just coming to a realization that I was going to speak a week ago. I haven't had too much prep time yet. And this has been a little bit of a challenge because I don't want to bring the exact same things that I said the last 2 years. I want to try to make it a bit different, or to talk about some ideas that I might have missed last year. So I'm thinking about mixing it up a bit. I want to talk about my usual things that I think are so important. That is using communication, specifically nonviolent communication, to make connections with people, to generate more freedom. That's been a big piece of my philosophy since I started this whole mission. But now I've also started to integrate the technology and the cryptocurrency side of it. So my intention is to focus on that a little bit as well, although I talked about it last year. But where I'm really starting to find interest or focus is in the censorship that's occurring online, all of the propaganda with mainstream media, the cooling of different Facebook pages, and maybe looking at how all of these trends are really a sign that maybe anarchists are starting to make a larger impact on mainstream society than we have in the past, because there are really a lot of organizations, a lot of actors out there that are doing whatever they can to silence us. So I think, looking at it from a communication perspective, we're doing a really good job of getting the message out there by leveraging technology and also leveraging our ability to empathize and connect with other people to make our message so palpable that it changes people and that people work to change themselves in the process. And I think this is really a culminating factor in this forward trajectory for a paradigm shift for more anarchism. So I'm kind of looking at talking about those ideas from this perspective of this dystopian, nightmarish, Orwellian world that we live in, and then moving towards something that's brighter, more freer. So I think that's what I'm really thinking about talking on.
Oh, I think that's really needed, Sterlin. I do, because of everything that's happening with Facebook, getting more messages even today that more friends' pages and videos are taken down. I love your perspective. It's so optimistic. And I think we really need that, because this is hurting all of us. Our whole community is in pain, suffering from what's happening with this censorship. So to hear a voice sharing that the reason this is happening is because we're making a difference, because anarchists are becoming more seen, and our message and our voice is being heard. That is truly what we need for support. So I love that you're going to bring that. And I think it's the challenge, Sterlin, for all of us speakers who are up there year and year again, up on the stage, to be able to bring new, fresh material. The other thing is there's half the people there are new and they've never heard you before. So it's like you want a certain level of repeat of who you are and your message, but then adding this freshness. So I'm right with you in my attempt to do that this year. I'm sure whatever you do is going to be amazing. You're such a good speaker. You're so inspirational. I was really glad to hear you were added to the main stage. It's really going to be good. So what do you think?
Thank you, Dayna.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I can't wait to see your lovely wife again. She's so sweet.
Yeah, she's amazing. Wouldn't be able to do this without her. And I was going to say, I feel the same about your speaking presence as well. So thank you for being a big, major part of this. It's important.
Well, thank you. Thanks for saying that. It's my pleasure. I'm really excited about it. I'm actually counting the days now until I go, until we see everybody. We get so caught up in all the details of this event, being a producer this year and working out all the meetings and the schedules and everything we have lined up. When I really sink down into the truth of what this is all about, my stomach gets all butterflies thinking about seeing you and seeing everybody part of our community, and it's going to be wonderful. So I'm very excited. So Sterlin, what are you most looking forward to this year at Anarchapulco?
I think I'm most looking forward to the new members of our community and meeting the sort of the freshly minted anarchists, because there seems to be a number of anarchists who are showing up. I remember last year I asked during my talk who was new anarchists in the room, and like half the room raised their hands. So I'm always excited about meeting new members of our community and helping to demonstrate and lead by example of how we're actually working to change the world. That's always one of my, and as a constant public speaker, that's been one of the most desirable consequences of going and speaking at events, is having people come up to me and say, listen, that talk was amazing. I've never heard people have the courage to say the things that you say. And now I'm inspired to go out and try to do some of the same things, especially if they've never even heard the message before. So that's really excites me, and I'm excited about that. And then just making old connections with people who have been in our community for a long time. That's also a really great part of it. So it's both that twin aspect of meeting new people and also coming into contact with people who've been in the space for so long. It's an amazing feeling inside.
Yeah, I agree. I can't wait for that too. It's going to be wonderful. Well, Sterlin, I'm so happy that you're coming again, and I'm really happy that you're representing Bitcoin.com along with their team who will be coming. How long have you worked for Bitcoin.com?
Since 2015. Roger started the company right at the beginning of 2015, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so I've been on since the very beginning. Of course, I started as a crypto journalist. I did that for about a year and a half, 2 years. And then I started as the communication ambassador, which is kind of a brand ambassador marketing person. But I've cut to the point where I just pretty much do public speaking and travel the world. I've been just recently, I got back from Switzerland and did a public talk. But it's funny, I'm always supposed to be talking about cryptocurrency and our mission, but I end up talking, and this is part of our mission, but I end up talking a lot more, it feels like, about anarchy and freedom, because that's just so important to even the cryptocurrency community, and not enough people talk about it anymore. So
yeah, they do go hand in hand. I do the same when I'm speaking about peaceful parenting. Anarchy always comes into it now for me. It wasn't always that way. I used to just speak about peaceful parenting, and then the more I learned about anarchism, the more it kind of became one when I was speaking about it. So in China this year, I had to kind of watch what I said because they're really strict on what you say over there with it being a communist government. But I kind of like snuck anarchy in there a little bit in some of my talks. Yeah, I'm so excited, Sterlin, this year. And I'm really happy to have Bitcoin.com back, and we all are. And to have your wife with you and to just see the love between you. I have to say that the love that you and your wife have, although it might not be something people say to you, to me, it's so, so inspiring. I see how in love you are. You're like this wonderful couple who inspires me as a woman. And yeah, I just want to thank you for all the work that you're doing online too. I want to really encourage people that don't know who you are to follow you on Facebook, because I have seen you grow as an advocate just by being your friend and following you. I've seen you grow over the last couple of years to the point where I look forward to seeing your updates because they're that inspiring. So when I see that you've updated, I love to read it. I just want to thank you for everything you're doing and how much everybody appreciates it. But I truly, truly appreciate your presence on this earth. So thank you.
Thanks, Dayna. My pleasure. Cecilia and I are extremely excited and happy to be coming to Anarchapulco. We're glad that everything worked out and that it's going to happen. And we can't wait to be there. So it's going to be amazing. No doubt.
And one last thing. I noticed that you have some tattoos. We have a tattoo artist there for the whole event. I know I'm going to be getting some more ink this year. I hope you are too. Never know. Get a big Bitcoin.
It's been a long time since I've had a tattoo, so I may actually consider that.
Well, I think it's about time. You either get the Anarchapulco logo or the Bitcoin logo, one or the other.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You may be able to convince me of it.
Okay, all right, dude. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And you can see Sterlin on his Facebook page. You can find him at Anarchapulco this year and just look at the schedule and see who's speaking. And thank you, everybody. Peace, love, anarchy.
violence against people and not wanting to steal and extort them.
And they try to tell us that the liberty movement is dead. That's a bunch of baloney. It's alive and well.
All freedom is our natural and eternal right.
And shout this message about what real liberty and freedom mean, but for everybody.
And I think that we should start a revolution here today.